Should you buy the dip in Skillz? Will Cathie Wood buy the dip in Skillz again too? Talk about that more on today's show. What is going on, investors? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day out there. Now, if your money has been tied up in Skillz over the last year, you've seen that money disintegrate down to 41%. This company still has a $4.85 billion market cap on this one. Now, this is a highly volatile stock, especially over the last year, but even over the last few days during the regular trade, the stock was up 7.32%, only to report Q3 numbers after the bell, and seeing that the stock is down now 12.7% in the after hours. We will talk about this stock from a technical perspective, which I think deviates slightly from the fundamentals on this one. So we'll talk about the fundamentals and the technical analysis of Skillz. Now, the revenues came in at $102 million. I'll show you that on the financial statements as well. And we'll walk through all the profit and loss and the cash flows and the balance sheets over at Skillz, so you get a clear picture of what's going on with this investment. Now, the revenues did grow 70% year over year, and quite frankly, that's got to be on the low end of what you need an investment like this to increase, considering, again, you have a $4.85 billion valuation on this one. And I want to remind you, before I absolutely shred this company from a financial perspective, because these are just absolutely disgusting and ugly from a financial perspective, I want to remind you that there's about a 21% short interest on this one. And so while you might not agree with me, institutional money by the tune of 21% short interest in a single stock absolutely agrees to me. Now, full disclosure, none of them have sent me anything, not a penny, to record this video, but I do have two sons growing up over here at the Investor Channel. If they want to send me a Lego set or two, they would more than appreciate it as well. Now, revenue growth grew 70%. All kidding aside, that is solid revenue growth. Now, paid monthly active users also climbed 47% year over year. So before I absolutely destroy this company, look, they're doing good things on this top line revenue. This is good. Paying monthly active users also 47% year over year is showing you that their games are acquiring more people that are willing to pay for that. And I think both that combination is absolutely fantastic with Skillz. And in fact, that is where the bull argument essentially ends with this stock, is the fact that yes, you do have top line growth, very nice, from 59 million up 70% to this 102 million. But unfortunately, everything else is growing at a similar, if not higher rate, because we take a look at our other cost here, our cost of revenue essentially doubled. You'd actually expect that, not that big of a deal, quite frankly. Research and development tripled from 4.3 up to 13.1. Selling and marketing went from 73 all the way up to 114, and general administrative ballooned. This is where a ton of the money is just flowing out of this company. Went from 7.81 up to 48 million. That means our total costs and expenses over the last year went from 88.5 million all the way up to $183.7 million. So you take our revenue of 102 million, and unfortunately you have to subtract these costs of 183 million, and that gets you a loss from operations of $81 million. We were sitting at a $28 million loss this time last year. I thought that was a complete disaster. Now we're sitting at $81 million. Over the last 9 months, it doesn't paint even a better story as all. We went from 56 million, nearly triple, actually more than tripled, to $183 million operating loss over at Skillz. Now, the balance sheet paints a nice story, and I'll show you why when we look at cash flows. So we've got our cash and cash equivalents here coming in at $540 million. I tell you what, when you're blowing through $81 million in a quarter running your business, you better have a lot of cash, and they have a fair amount, but they are going to need more over at Skillz unless they miraculously start turning some kind of profit from an operating and a cash flow perspective. We do see very little liabilities. In fact, those went down quite a bit because these warrants essentially got wiped off the book. At least the long-term ones did for the most part. Now, in terms of cash flows, paints an even worse story. Can you believe it? For the last 9 months, you've lost $82 million on this stock. Last year, you lost $81 million. So you haven't improved that whatsoever. But unfortunately, even when you factor in the executives over at this company paid themselves over 4 times more in stock-based compensation. Take a look at the stock performance too over the last year. This stock was up over $46 per share in February, and now we're talking about an $11 stock. And over that time, the executives over at Skillz paid themselves 4 times more stock-based compensation than they did last year. If you own this stock, you are a fool. You are an absolute sucker. You are paying for these executives' new watch, their new boat, their new house, their new vacation home, their new vacations, while you are completely tying your money up in an absolute disaster of a company. Because as we flow down here through cash flows, we see net cash used in operating activities. Yeah, over the last 9 months, this company has burned through $103 million. I'll remind you that on the cash side of the balance sheet, we've got barely, and I say barely, $550 million worth of cash if you want to include receivables. And over the last 9 months, we've blown through over a fifth of that, or $103 million. Last year, we were sitting at $29 million. So we increased our cash burn by 3 times while increasing our stock-based compensation for the executives by nearly 4 times. These stocks exist only to get the executives of these companies rich. It's not meant to get you, Joe shareholder, rich. That is why we never, ever recommend these stocks here on the Investor Channel. Can these stocks turn things around? Can this stock go from $12 up to $30 or $40 or $100? When you look at a GameStop, when you look at the Wall Street Bet stuff, sure, a stock like this certainly can, but I probably could go to Vegas and have the similar type of odds to double, triple, quadruple my money, and I would have a hell of a lot more fun than investing in a company like this where it's just numbers on a computer screen. At least in Vegas, I'd be throwing dice or flipping cards over. Now, proceeds from an issuance of common stock, this company is absolutely fantastic at issuing shares and then rewarding that to the executives. Notice over the last 9 months, we've sold nearly $402 million worth of our stock to cover up for the $103 million we lost running the business and paying the executives 4 times more shares than we did last year. So this company is issuing stocks. They give it to the executives. Those executives sell those shares, run this company into the ground, and run your investment down and down and down. Now, what has also been going down and down and down is the stock price. It was up over here at $46 per share in February, and now we're down here at $11. But quite frankly, what I see down here is a stock looking like it's trying to bottom, believe it or not. Okay, on our last video, we talked about how this $12 level was some support. We actually expected this stock to bounce at the $12 level. It did temporarily, I mean, for a day. That's the problem with a Skillz investment, especially for a novice beginning investor. In my opinion, you're not experienced enough. You're not tied close enough. If you're a day trader, I think this is an awesome stock. I think there's some trade setups here. But if you're a novice investor with a day job, a side hustle, and maybe you're going to school at the same time, you don't have time to monitor this stock, because if you miss that bounce at $12 up to $14, it lasted a single day, and this stock went all the way down to about $8 per share. Now, it's rallied nicely and has come up into a resistance area again right at 12. So what we thought on our last video was support at $12 now is resistance, and this $12 level is hard resistance, especially when you factor in executives are rewarding themselves very richly when it comes to shares. I doubt over the next year this stock-based compensation number will go down. In fact, I can almost guarantee that it will go up, and these guys' lifestyle that run these companies will likely go up as well. He'll want the new Rolex, the new Mercedes, the new and faster Tesla, and they will be selling those shares, and that will keep a lid on this stock, not only from that perspective, but this $12 level is now a hard resistance level. I would not touch this stock until we put 2 candles above $12, and these would be 2 candles with the second candle being higher than the previous candle. And look, that's basically what we've done over the last few weeks. When we were down at $8 per share, we put 2 candles in a row that were higher than the previous ones, and this stock's rallied $4, and it's been a nice trade, especially from an options perspective. If you can trade this on the options, tell you what, you could really lever up and really gamble with this one. I would not want to do that unless we got well above $12 per share. I'd probably actually want to be closer up here to $14 per share, because there's an area of resistance up here at $14 as well, and all the way up, because think about all the shareholders in this stock. I mean, we've got massive volume here at $18, $19, $20 per share on this one. These people are going to want to step in and sell this stock if they haven't, if they can get close to break even. That's why I don't, outside of some kind of short squeeze, some news-driven event, I don't necessarily see this one as a good investment. Can this stock rally? Can it go hard? Is it a gambler's type stock? Sure, but this is the investor channel. There's other channels out there to do a far better job at analyzing speculative pump and dump type stocks. Skillz is a pump and dump stock. I would avoid it as an investor. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We'll be back again soon with more. Good luck with your investments.